At the end of this demo, I'll compare yesterday's 25-minute drawing of this tree with this 5-minute drawing version. And I worked hard to keep it at under 5 minutes, so I made all the compromises that we do make when we're doing a really fast drawing. There are trade-offs in getting that speed, but there are also possibilities and just a totally different feel to our mark making, which can really sometimes create a very good impact at the end. So I'm using the same pen, a 0.2mm pen. I'm drawing at the same size. And the advantage I have with this drawing this morning, as opposed to last night, is I've drawn it once before in a slower, more considered way with careful observation within memory, both mind memory and muscle memory. So that is giving me a bit of an advantage than if I were drawing this in 5 minutes, having not drawn it before. But having made that confession, I've been off and running for a while, and there are a few differences straight off. I'm making larger marks, longer lines, more quickly. Sometimes there is a bit of a zigzag with my hatching rather than separating every line. I've been bolder in committing to the silhouette outline. It's not quite as spotty, perhaps, as yesterday. It's quicker with a few longer lines, although I think I may actually prefer that. And that was my thought as I was drawing this. Now, I'm not going to create as dark values, and the differences won't be perhaps as subtle. There won't be as much grayscale because I just don't have the same time to put the marks close together and to layer them. Basically, everything's done with a little less observation and a little less care in the placement, but that doesn't mean it's careless. For this style, for these sorts of marks, I'm still taking as much care as I need to get that close enough feel that a more gestural drawing style sits quite happily with. I'm also not being as precise to this actual tree. It's not that I'm drawing a generic tree, I'm still trying to capture the feel of this foliage, these leaves, this sunlight even, but I'm prepared to make some changes to the quite specific details of this tree for the sake of the 5 minutes. And it was around here that I think began to slow down slightly and just think too much. I needed to have kept pushing myself onwards with the same speed that I had at the start. I think memories of yesterday's drawing and process were slowing me down slightly. But with a really fast drawing such as this, we really are getting the feel of something. And so it's finding marks to capture that feel. But before I can do that, I have to actually decide myself, what is the feel? So this is real time that you're seeing, and nothing is edited out. There's no thinking time that's been edited out. This was from start to finish for me a 5-minute drawing. And I've got to say, I enjoyed it an awful lot. And there are some things I like about this drawing more than yesterday's more considered one. And in some ways, overall, it's ironically a better capture of the overall shape of yesterday's, of this drawing compared with yesterday's. So in a moment, I'll show you the two side by side. If you haven't seen yesterday's demo video, I'll put a link to it in this video at the end of this video, which is not very far off, of course. But we will see the two of them side by side. Please hit the like button if you're finding this interesting. And look, I would love to hear in a comment which tree you prefer. Do you prefer the more considered, carefully drawn tree that took 5 times as long? Or do you think that there's more advantage in the way this much faster grab of the same scene looks? We still do, though, need to pause slightly and have a look. Please hit that like button if you haven't already, and why not the hype button if you can see it for me. I have a whole trees playlist if you're interested in more on drawing trees and all things plant and foliage related. So here it is. This is how it looks. How does it look compared side by side with yesterday's drawing? So in 20% of the time, here they are then side by side. Now, to me, the most obvious thing, besides the fact that today's is a bit lighter because I didn't have time to put so much hatching down, that today's tree I actually think is a better capture of the form of the reference. However, in fairness, I have had the advantage not just of having observed the tree yesterday already, but have been able to observe yesterday's drawing and work out what I wasn't happy with about the overall form and how it related to the reference. And this is why it's often a good idea to redraw something that we're not happy with, because we start with much more knowledge and experience than in the first drawing. G'day, I'm Stephen Travers. Hope you found this interesting. I'll provide a link to this reference photo, the same one as yesterday, in the description. So why not have a go at either 25 minutes or 5 minutes? If you haven't seen the longer demo, I hope you give that a go as well. But in the end, whatever you draw, however long you take to draw it, whatever marks you use, however it turns out, make sure you have fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.